Hey guys, this is Everything You Need to Know 1, and today we're going to be making melon pan buns out of squishy clay. So if you guys watched my other tutorial on how to make squishy clay, just go check that out because you will be needing that to make this creation. So let's get started. So over here we have one of my squishy buns. I actually got this from another YouTuber, but she made hers out of polymer clay. And I think it's Gentleman Bunny, but I'm not quite sure. So I'll just post it later. So here's what it looks like. So yeah, they are pretty cute. They have a little kawaii face on and just little slices. And so let me show you what you need. So what you will need is a clear space to work, some fabric paint, or actually any kind of paint. But here's what it looks like. You'll need a plate, a knife, some eyeshadow makeup. You'll also need a pin like this. I call it a ball pin, but I'm not really sure what it's called. And you will need a brush and some squishy clay. So let's get started. First, you're going to take your squishy clay and get a size about this big and just roll it in your hand. About this size. So about this size will be good. And you're going to take your plate and just gonna stick it on there and flatten it down. Now you're gonna put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. But you can decide on how big it is. So if it's kind of small, you can put it in for 10 seconds, and if it's really big, about 20. But since mine is kind of like it's a medium size, I'm gonna put it in for 15 seconds. When you're done, you're going to get this kind of color, and it'll have like some white spots and stuff, but if it's like that, you might want to put it in for a little longer, and then after you're going to let it wait. I'm just going to let it sit for about 2 minutes, not that long, but yeah. So I let it sit for a bit, and that's what it'll look like. There's no more white spots. It's hard. It might be a little hot. And yeah, so let's get started with the cutting. Now you're going to take your knife and cut square shapes. Make sure it's centered properly. Make sure you don't stick it in too deep. So here's what it should look like. It might be a little cracky, but that's okay because we're going to be shading it in. So it should look like that. So now it's time for shading. So you're going to take your brush, any kind basically, and you're going to aim for a really tannish kind of gold color. So like this. And you're going to take this color and just rub it onto the squares, not the cracks. You can take more if needed. By the way, you don't have to use eyeshadow. You can also use pastels. You don't have to have the same exact color, but it should be fairly close. Okay. So once you're done using that goldenish color, you're going to take a color like this and try and rub it into the cracks. So once you're done doing that, you can take the same like goldish color You can take this color again and go over the squares again because they're getting a little dark. So after you're done doing that, you're going to take one last color, which is going to look kind of like a pink color, like kind of tan color but more lighter. So like this, and you're going to go over the sides, like all the whiteness. You can color the bottom, but I prefer not to. I don't know, just because no one's really going to see the bottom unless you put it in a charm. So you can color that, and now it's time to do the eyes. So for this step, you're going to need a ball pin, which will look like this. I'm not even sure if it's called a ball pin, but that's what I call it. You don't actually have to use this, but I think it looks better so the eyes look exactly the same, or you could just paint it on yourself. You're going to use your fabric paint or paint, and you're just going to dab it onto the side like this. And you're going to take the back of the ball pin. And you don't have to use brown, but I'm just using it because I ran out of black. So I prefer to stick the eyes on with one of the diamond parts, like right there. That's kind of hard. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this. You can take off your melon pan bun at this point. And you're going to dot two eyes on, like that. And you want it to look like a kawaii face or whatever it's called. Kinda. But it doesn't have to. This is what it's going to look like. That. And now it's time to draw on the mouth. And now they're not very squishy. You can see these aren't that squishy, but you know, they're kinda. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my channel.